You know that?
Wow.
Pastor Tanks is the one who prefers white.
It was like the slightly green, no marks on the
Yeah.
banana.
Slightly green banana is good though.
It is good.
Yeah.
Sarah thinks I'm crazy for that.
That's my favorite.
Oh, you like it too?
It wants to have a little. I want to have a little bit of green
Yeah.
because it's going to have extra sweetness to it.
Yeah, it's like.
Once you get towards the brown, it's not as sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, we agree on that. Look at that.
That was quick.
Christian unity, people. So I'd love to hear any comments from those of you who were part of our Follow-Up Friday discussions today. There were a couple really good ones. Maybe you think Jannelle just has never gotten it right. And you'd like to ask her why that would be.
Actually, somebody texted and had a problem with me.
Why do you sound so surprised by that?
Cause I'm like that woman that called me loud. I was like, whoa, like you don't like me?
Well, you are kind of loud sometimes.
I'm not loud. How about if you're just...
How about you ask them, see what they think?
Am I loud? Let me know.
Whoa.
What?
Not all the time, but just loud sometimes.
Wait.
That means you're more fun and passionate.
Isn't that subjective though? Like who gets to call loud?
I know.
Think about that. Thank you.
So the next time one of your kids cranks up the music and you ask them to turn it down, they can be like, wow, why do you get to decide what's loud? I think this is perfectly normal. So why don't you go away? Could they do that?
Really, Ryan?
No, loud is actually it's not subjective, it's objective based on decibel level.
Oh my gosh. Somebody had a problem with me because they said...
It's hard to find them because it's usually text-filled people who hate me.
Yeah. They had a problem with you and had a problem with me because they said Jannelle keeps trying to divide us and make teams out of us. How about we're all one team under Jesus? Like
Well, we
mad.
are
And they said it was
technically
me.
we're all family in Christ, but I am not on her team.
What's up, Tiffany? Woo! Patricia, Eva, Pamela, hola!
Look at Patricia. Huh. All right, people, am I loud? She goes, occasionally.
And Pamela says, yes. I am not loud. Thank you. Woo.
There's more. I know you just busted me,
Amy, Tammy, happy Friday. What's up?
Mike. Tiffany says, depends on who you ask.
Thank you, Mike. Turn your hearing aids
Eva's
down.
answer, you're Latina.
Thank you.
Which isn't that her saying, yes, you are loud. Isn't that what she's saying?
What is up with us with that? But I'm like,
You're asking the white guy.
What do you guys think? Are you guys always like, shh? Like, just keep it down. Like, or you intentionally just talk softly. When your family gets together, I'm not talking about Sarah. I'm talking about grandparents, uncles. What do you sound like? Do you guys take turns talking? Like, what is that?
Well, okay, if it's a group of adults together, yeah, we tend to have a wonderful discussion and we take turns.
And you stay quiet. Nobody gets emotional.
I mean, I guess sometimes, but
Is it intentional? Do you guys say this is the way? Oh, you do.
yes, you don't know about this, but there's how to be white classes. It's really great.
Yeah. Tell us.
Yeah. You don't know about it because you can't go because you're not
Because I
white.
wonder, do y'all act like that at your house or just like at
But
restaurants?
it starts as children.
Okay.
And you sit down in the class and they
Yeah.
go, children, today's first lesson on how to be white. Number 1, keep the volume down.
Number 2, give me three.
Number 2, show up exactly on time or early.
Yes. What is up with that? And then what's number 4? Number 3.
Number 3, pick the mild salsa.
Oh my goodness.
We have mild salsa. I'm making all
Eva
that
says
up.
it's a cultural thing. You're more alive and more fun. Woo! Yeah! Tiffany says it's definitely a culture thing. Deborah says, gotta admit that bell thing is a bit loud. Maybe it's just too close to the mic. Yo, it is louder when I hear it. What am I doing wrong? Maybe they gave me the Latino bell. Oh my gosh. I agree. I think my bell's loud. Francie called you boring. Patricia says, I don't have a problem with Jannelle's louds. When you are protesting people's accusations of being loud, you become loud. I sure do. Remember what I did when that woman called? Did she just call me loud?
Yeah, Patricia's just standing up for the truth.
Oh, thank you, Deborah. It's actually from my second favorite store. It has been demoted. It was supposed to be my favorite, but their stuff is.
What is Rob's problem? Do you see he's talking junk?
Woohoo! Rob, thank you.
Jannelle brings life to the room. Read that one. He's talking junk already. Jannelle.
Jannelle
Rob.
brings life to the room in conversation. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Counting down the time till Brian hates on me. Thank you. What is up with that? Why do you hate on people?
Because predictability is annoying, and you're predictable, Rob.
Wow, is Callie on? Or nobody's on YouTube?
I'm just over here eating my banana, trying to find some brown spots because I love them.
Do you agree? I know it was maybe insensitive for me to bring it up that early, but we didn't have a lot of time. That the whole thing about being with someone, you're a virgin, you meet a woman that has a sexual past, is more of an issue that people will entertain if you're a man versus a woman. That's so messed up.
Yep.
I know it is in my culture. I don't know.
No, I think that's generally true. I think that's true.
Yeah.
It's your experience too, Kelly?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you want to do about that?
I think it's what you had told the man, the purity culture kind of thing. Because even that, we talk about being virgins, but then you got virgins that got some serious issues and have done a whole lot of stuff. So I think it's the way we talk about sex and define purity. Now the whole male-female thing, I don't know when that was introduced. I haven't heard that in the purity culture per se, the way Dr. Julie talks about it. The gender difference.
Well, I just think historically speaking,
okay, go ahead.
Women being pure was much more emphasized.
Yes.
Like there were no male chastity belts.
Oh yeah, the whole ring thing. Did they do that for men? For the boys?
Like
Remember
purity
the
rings?
girl?
Yeah, purity rings.
No, it
were
was not for
big.
boys. It was a girl thing.
Yeah, that was a big thing growing up. Was, oh, do you have your purity ring? Do you, like, for some women it was a really big deal.
Yeah.
Here you go, Deborah, limiting me because I can't work there. Then she said at work we have people who don't have indoor voices, and that is bad when working in healthcare during the night shift. Can you imagine me there? Or like at a nursing home?
They'd be like, they'd go, shh, Jannelle, inside voice. Inside voice.
Oh, walking to patients, what's up?
And they're like, well, I was sleeping. Well, I'm working.
Miss Diola said, well, I'm white, but Jannelle would be at home with my gang. Everybody talks at the same time. If you're a quiet, reserved person, you would be uncomfortable. I have one kid that's quiet and reserved, and the poor kid, straight up, like when we're eating and having conversations, nobody takes turns, everybody's loud. I'm gonna tell you something we do that doesn't work but works for other families. This one kid raises his hand and just keeps it up.
Aww.
He doesn't even belong. Jonah.
Aww.
He's the old.
What's he
That
doing
kid.
raising his hand? Put your hand down and just start talking.
Exactly. And then when he talks, he'll be deep. He doesn't even belong in our family.
You know what he actually wants? He wants all of you to shut your mouths.
Exactly. One thing we've tried is passing the spoon. They fight for the spoon.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm not even going to try that.
Gosh.
When does he always get the spoon first?
Oh my gosh.
Hasn't he had the spoon long enough? I want the spoon.
Deborah says, I'd be in your face all the time. Me too. You know what I would, if my calling that I missed part of it, I would love to go to nursing homes and like get a couple friends and just sit there and talk to them all the time.
Oh.
They got all kinds of time. Can you imagine all the stories they
We
got?
would have great
Oh my gosh. My son did one
Not a guarantee,
project.
but
What? Why are you hating on older people just because you don't have stories?
I went to my grandmother, born in 1912, moved to Florida during World War II while her husband was in the Navy and stationed at a port there. I was like, Grandma, what was it like December 7th, or it's December 8th, 1942, when FDR went on the radio and talked about the bombing of Pearl Harbor? Well, I don't remember, Brian.
Oh.
Grandma, what was it like in the da-da-da-da? Well, I don't remember, Brian. So you can't just say because you're old you got great stories. That's ridiculous.
Tell me, what happened? I want to say, just hold your chair, sit down. It is Selena Day. Woo! National Selena Day. It's her birthday today. It's a great day to play her music, watch her movie. Selena's awesome. Thank you.
It's not her movie.
about her life. Do you got a movie about your life?
Not yet. It would be really short and exceptionally boring.
Sarah says traditionally men have expected to be able to sow their wild oats and have the wife for kids, but a lover for sex. Women were expected to be virgins and faithful to their husbands. That often still trickled into our expectations today. I loved hearing Ron's humble, loving testimony.
Yeah, wasn't that great?
That was a really good one. You want to repeat it or kind of give people an idea? Okay.
No, Ron, his story is unique in that when he met Dana, his wife, she was a widow with a couple of kids. And Ron said he was a virgin. And so he had to confront some of that, some of the issues that Texter was dealing with.
Yeah.
And feelings of inadequacy and what do I do with this? I expected to marry a woman who was a virgin too. And
yeah.
And so he just talked about how he was able to move forward from that.
Yeah. It was really, really good. Tammy says, my mom remembered she was scared during the Pearl Harbor thing.
Oh, yeah. That's great. My grandma couldn't remember. So,
That's crazy.
like I said, just because you're old doesn't mean you have great stories. Right, Jannelle? Perfect example. Jannelle.
My only living grandfather.
That's perfect. Sorry, go ahead.
He doesn't remember. He doesn't talk. David says, a movie about Brian would be awesome. Okay, what would it be about? Tell us. Just kind of like give us. We're going to go watch. I'm about to spend $10 on a ticket. What would be the summary of the movie that would make me
First
pay?
of all, I tell you, don't buy a ticket to this movie. David, I love you, man, but I mean, it would be about an average to below average white kid that grew up in a good home.
What was your major conflict?
Nothing.
You had conflict.
Not anything that's movie worthy.
No. Oh,
You
y'all
can
buy
dramatize
tickets
it.
for my movie. It's coming.
I was like,
Buy
dramatize
tickets.
it, make it more dramatic.
Well, Jannelle would do that. Hers would be based on a true story. And so it would be about a little girl who's born and raised through all of her life in Dominican Republic and got into a canoe. And as a young woman, canoed across the Caribbean Sea to America.
That's right.
When in reality, she was born in DR but raised in Rhode Island and went to a very rich private white school.
Whatever.
What do you mean, whatever? That is true.
I am all Latino. I grew up in a Latino
I'm not saying you're not
neighborhood.
Latina. I'm saying you grew up in Rhode Island.
I
And
did.
you went to a rich white school.
I did. You know what's messed up about that? We gotta hear all these Irish, Italian people talk about how Italian and Irish they are, and they grew up here, and nobody does that.
What?
Oh yeah, oh that's it here, that's where you're from, that's so awesome, you're Italian. You don't say that about like Polish. Dave Safransky, we're all about, oh, he's Polish. We play a Polish song every time he comes. Nobody questions. Nobody tells him, dude, like, you are all about America and you want to claim Polish too. How come you don't say that? Oh, Sweden.
Are you distracting from the fact that
Explain that, though.
your movie would be based on a true story?
Explain
and
that.
would be totally
Do you
embellished?
see the inconsistency?
Thank you. Thank you, as
God.
Jannelle would say. By the way, hi, Antwi. Good to see you, Antwi. Sarah and I are hoping to get to
Thank
Minnesota
you,
this
Rob.
summer.
Rob, you know what I'm talking about. It's this little, like, I know what's going on. Thank you. They don't do that. We got to, oh, man. I'm about to fight you. You're going to like this. Sarah says, Brian, I once asked my grandpa what it was like during the Depression. He said, how does it sound? It was depressing. I don't think I asked anything else again.
That's great.
That's
That's the kind of stuff I would get, too. It's like, well, thank you for that.
Robert said, tell it, Jannelle. That's right.
What did Charles say?
What you going to say about Rob? Charles says,
I'm not listening to Rob.
good morning, family. Sorry I had to hang up, but the lady Jannelle Neville's new auntie was on point
Ooh.
today.
Yeah,
Woo!
she was.
What was her
Deborah.
name again? Deb. Was
Auntie
it Deb?
Deborah.
It was Deborah. Oh.
It was Deborah.
Wow, you don't even know your auntie's name.
Wow. I'm claiming her as my auntie.
Thank
too.
you, Rob. He says, I'm totally Team Jannelle for certain. Brian has pushed me away.
Sorry you can't handle tough love, Rob. Wow, you need your unicorns and rainbows and Latinas. That's what you need.
That's right. Got merengue on this side. Mike says, I'm only hearing about 10% of the conversation. I'm taking care of my mom in Buffalo, and her Wi-Fi is slow. I started using that router. Oh my goodness.
Where you can shut it down with the kids?
So awesome. So I got their phones, and I haven't dealt with the phones, but I connected the TV and I put it on schedule. And we always got to fight about the girls, because you know how, like, I go to bed early, Len sometimes is kind of off, their bedtime's supposed to be at 9, or they'll do that thing where Len's watching TV with them, and stays downstairs sleeping till 11. So they stay down there. Raina does that. So she'll be like, I'm with Papi watching TV. And I told you what she does? She'll be like, a random day, she'll be like, Papi, you want to watch Frozen with me? It'll be like 8:30. Because she knows he'll fall asleep. And then she can, ain't that mad tricky? So now I got the router that I told you about. It's awesome. If you don't have it, please go get it. I set it up on a schedule for the weekday, and it shuts the Wi-Fi to the TV down at 9:30.
Yeah.
Automatically.
Isn't that great?
Oh,
I'm all about.
my
I could
God.
change that right now if I want to for my phone.
I was gonna ask you. So, like, I didn't know that. I thought I had to be within the Wi-Fi to control it.
No, like my app for my Wi-Fi works with cell service too. Like it gets me into my router
I didn't know
from
that.
anywhere.
Oh, that's
And
amazing.
by the way, Aunt Twee, Sarah and I were just talking yesterday about the fact that Lord willing we'll be in Minnesota this summer, and that we'll make a trip to Marshall, and we're trying to make sure we plan it on a time where we could see you. We miss you, Aunt Twee. And we'll have to get a picture up here so everybody can see Aunt Twee hanging out with me.
Angie, the router, the one I have, is actually connected with Amazon Alexa, and so you can connect it to control it. It's Eero, E-E-R-O.
That sounds
It
dumb.
is amazing.
But I mean, there's so many things out
There's
there
a
like
lot of
that.
them,
Same
yeah.
concept where you control everything that's connected to your router.
That one came with something too that I've been looking for, but then buy separately. It all came together. Some people call it Kick, they call it beacons, and you put it across the house to push the signal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been struggling with that, but finally. But I can't.
Linda know how to do that.
My kids are controlled
So,
now.
like, I have this app here. I'm turning on right now. I'm connecting to my network. My network looks good. Just make sure there's nothing here you shouldn't see. So it's testing my home network, and I've got. So like if you see right here, it's telling me that connected right now is on an LG TV. We have an LG TV in the house, and I can go in and I can like turn it off, this connection. And I set up profiles. I've got 3 different profiles set up for all the devices where I can shut down the internet on
You
whatever
gotta
I
help
want.
me with that.
On whatever I want in the house at a certain time every day. So the kids can't do anything but talk to each other or go to sleep.
What's the difference between the profile and the device? Like when I click on that, it'll say what profile do you want to connect it to? But I don't understand that. What's the difference?
Well, it's a different system, but for mine, I set up a profile, and then in that profile, I pick devices, and I can set downtime for those devices.
So
check the
why
device-
would you want 2 different devices under one profile versus each device has its own profile? Like, I don't get the difference.
Well, so think of it this way: you're just ignore us for a moment. You're no, like I'm setting up. Like, let's say I want a specific group of things off from 9 p.m. to
Okay.
5 a.m. I'm going to set that profile and add things to that
Like
downtime.
all the kids want phones.
Yeah. But there was a limit on my profiles and how many devices you could put on one profile.
Okay.
So I had to make 3 profiles to be able to get all the phones, all the TVs, all the laptops, all the.
Nah.
It's worth the effort.
Yes, it is. What's the app? It's not the app. It's a device, and then you connect it. Pretty much, and correct me if I'm wrong, they probably all work the same way. I have my router, and the router goes through this device, which is the Eero device, and that's the one that controls everything.
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
is your actual modem router the thing?
Well, for me, it's with my internet provider. AT&T has
okay.
that app that
Okay.
that connects to my router.
Yeah.
So most people have it.
Sarah says, for the longest time when I heard Brian say Aunt Twee, I heard Aunt Twee. I kept looking in the comments for that name. I finally understood.
Yeah, it's Aunt Twee. Yeah.
Patricia, we didn't forget about you. Mwah. I didn't forget about you. Especially if you're Team Jannelle. I never forget. I know Deborah, Angie, Novella, all of you. I'm Team Jannelle. So you my girl. I don't forget you.
Patricia's
Team Brian's
being
on
very
YouTube.
careful.
Yeah, and Team Brian's on YouTube today. Janet.
Thank
good.
you, Bruce.
Yeah.
Brian, you're a little too hard on Jannelle. Back up a little.
Whoa, Bruce.
Back up. Back up.
I don't know
That's
what you're
right,
talking
Bruce.
about.
I'm going to tell Len you got my back.
up.
Bruce says, I'm a retired police who worked in the inner city. Please don't believe the hype. There's a lot of people, if not most people, who like the police and want the police in the community. And this is in reference to a caller this morning. And we actually
Yeah.
had another caller that was like, we need to stop. We were talking about unity and police conversations. We need to stop making our kids scared of police. And I think you can have the conversation as a concerned, especially black parent, and separate that from being scared of police. I told you the story of Isaiah. He had this conversation years ago many times, and he got stopped with his friend, and the friend was driving. The friend was white, and the police comes, and Isaiah has his hand on the dashboard, and his friend's like chilling, you know, and the police comes up and talks to the friend, and then looks at Isaiah. I was like, hey, buddy, like, you're good. You can put your hands down. And then he goes to the car, comes back. Isaiah still has his hands like this. And the police is like, buddy, for real. Like, it's all good. Isaiah's like, nah, I'm good. They're going to stay right here. You know, but so it's a way of, like, navigating the moment. It has nothing to do with, I'm scared of you, you know, or scared of police. We actually have gone with the boys. It was a cafe in our neighborhood where the police were connecting with people from the community. So I think it's what you were talking about with nuance. You can have these conversations with your kids or your community and still celebrate, love, and honor police and talk to them as human beings, you know?
Yeah, the overwhelming vast majority of police officers are just trying to do their jobs and go home safe to their families.
Yes. And Bruce, that is awesome. Retired police. So cool. David, see, Team Jannelle forgets about their people. Team Brian doesn't.
That doesn't. That's absolutely true. Yeah,
Patricia
David
says Isaiah is wise. Yes, my
is.
son. Yeah, he don't play. I was telling him about driving safe, like when he was leaving one time, and I was giving him instructions. He's like, Ma, I'm driving. I don't want to die. He's like, I'm good. Don't worry, you know, because he's thinking, you're worried about me dying. I don't want to die.
Do you remember Len's face when I told him about me getting pulled over by a state trooper in Illinois?
Wow. Have y'all heard this story? Gosh, go ahead.
I rented a car for Moody, and I was driving back from St. Louis, I believe it was, from a conference. And I got pulled over in Missouri?
Kylie and Janet. Woo! Janet, that's your girl.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Team Brian is on YouTube. Yeah, Janet. Janet's the best.
Yeah.
I love Janet.
Okay, we'll read your comments in a moment. So you were in a rented car.
I forget what state it was, but it's. All of a sudden I saw flashing lights behind me from a state trooper, and I got pulled over, and I was super nervous for a lot of reasons. One of them was I just got pulled over in a car rented for work, and Moody doesn't mess around.
Really?
Like, oh man,
I got 5
be able to rent the car, yeah.
Gosh.
And he came up, and I pulled you over, sir. No, I don't, officer. I don't know. And he could tell I was like super nervous. And it was because he said I was following too close to somebody.
Oh, wow.
He wasn't going to ticket me for it, but he wanted to just talk to me about it. And I was nervous. He's like, you know what, I'm going to go check and run your license stuff. Why don't you come on back with me? Come on over here.
What?
I was like, what? He goes, come on out of the car, come on. And he had me sit down in the passenger seat of the squad car.
Aww.
And I was like, I can't believe this is happening. We're hanging out.
Wow.
We are
At
hanging
the
out.
moment, did you feel that, like, did you think, were you living in Chicago?
At the time I was, yeah.
So then you had friends. You had to have been feeling like, wow, this is weird.
Yeah, I remember I had lunch with Pastor Gerald January, pastor of a big church.
Mm-hmm.
Guy loves the Lord, worked for a major ministry organization for a while. He and his wife were driving in downstate Illinois to a college football game. He has got a nice car, which is okay.
Yeah.
You're allowed to have a nice car.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a sports car or something, but a nice car. Gets pulled over by a state trooper. First question, is this your car?
Oh.
Dang.
Meanwhile, it's like, hey, calm down, sir. Come on, Brian, come on back and sit in the squad with me. Come on, sit down. Let's hang out.
Wow.
No one's ever asked me if it's my car.
Is it
I don't
okay
drive
to
nice
say,
cars,
and
but-
I'm not trying, listen, it's Friday, I gotta go home, my mom's home, my mommy's here. So I'm not, this is
So it's
gonna be
about
quick.
time to get my pastelitos that you stole from me.
Mommy, she's not making pasta.
You're stealing
She's
my
making
pastelito.
pastelitos for me. not
That's
for you.
right.
I'm never going to forget it.
Is it okay to entertain the fact that, like, good police, the ones we're talking about that you said just want to go home, whatever,
Yeah.
can have bias? Like,
Yeah.
that guy
I have bias, don't
could
you?
stop another black guy in the same situation and treat the person differently. You know?
Do you have bias?
I have bias.
Me too. So is it possible for police to have bias? Uh-huh.
But we don't like that. Like, if you tell somebody that, they'll be like, you know, just like the Lisa from this morning. So Janet, what's up? Janet says, I sing at nursing homes before the pandemic for years.
Yeah.
Once we're back, if you can come to do a quiet devotional. You don't want me to
That's
go
for
with you.
Janet. Got you.
She says, even the clap is loud. Oh, my God. I am loud. That's all right, though.
Excuse me, I don't do quiet
That's
devotionals.
right. I don't.
Thank you.
One thing I'm learning as I'm getting older, I know when to be quiet. Like, I go to church, I sit there quietly. I do.
I'd be throwing out amens.
It's being comfortable with who I am. So, like, that right there is like, okay, I need to go there.
You're doing what, though? You're learning
I
what?
know how to be quiet. If I'm at church, I know how to sit there quietly. Oh my gosh. I do. I try hard. Now, Len sometimes, if he's with me, he'll like remind me. I told you when I did a gas station, I was like, babe, I'm so excited. I want to scream.
Yeah.
That's so stupid. You need to stop it. So I got my moments. Shanika says, I was on hold to comment this morning. But
I saw your name, Shanika. I'm so sorry we couldn't get to
that
you.
was
So many
Brian's
calls.
fault. I was like, Brian,
Totally
Shanika.
her fault.
Wow,
I'm
Brian.
like, Jannelle, why can't you hear from
messed up.
Shanika? And Janelle's like, I don't want to talk to her.
Oh, Patricia says, hug your mommy. We love her for making you. Woo! Yeah!
With your occasional loud sound.
Oh my gosh. Let me see. Whoa. Okay, Shanika says, I was on hold to comment, but I had to hang up. I love the fact that you guys talk about the uncomfortable issues. Brian, you have always had a heart for issues like this. Thank you.
Oh, cool. Thanks for
What
recognizing
made me sad about the caller earlier is that he admitted that he didn't even know many black people. The reason why unity is lacking in the community of believers is because we forget to focus on Jesus and look at issues as he would.
Yep.
We cannot be left or right as believers. I'm sad to see how one-sided the majority of evangelicals can be on major issues. Amen. Followers of Jesus cannot be on one side or the other. We have to come from a place of love for all people at all times. Whenever an incident occurs involving the police, we cannot turn the TV off. Our heart should hurt for everyone involved, especially a person who lost their life. We should hate to see anyone in this situation. If our heart is not moved for a man who died on the ground underneath another man's knee, we need to take a serious look at the condition of our hearts.
Yeah.
Please do not stop, Brian, talking about these issues. God calls us to do the uncomfortable things. We cannot stay in our small world with blinders on. We are a big world full of brothers and sisters of all colors and cultures, and God loves each and every one of us the same. And that is the viewpoint we need to act from.
Yes.
That's why I told you we should take Shanika's call. That's why I told you we should take Shanika's
Gosh,
call.
wow.
Janelle. Loud and mean.
That is deep. What?
Shanika, great comments. Thank you for
Yes.
that. Well said. Sorry we couldn't get to you. It's a tough thing. We got so many calls on there. And Jannelle picks them, and I wanted to take a call. That's not true. But okay, I did want to take a call. So did Jannelle.
Yeah.
Sorry we couldn't get to it. Great point.
Yes.
Man.
Yes.
Mary says, good morning. What's up, Mary? Woohoo! Mary!
Yes.
That has to be boring. If you quiet all the time, oh my gosh. So boring. I did not get to listen much this morning. What did Jannelle just mean on YouTube when she said, yeah, just like Lisa from this morning? Oh, she didn't get to hear the whole show.
Oh,
Go ahead.
if you're on YouTube right now, Lisa, we talked about your text, like for an hour and a half. I'm sorry you missed it. Bummer. Oh, okay. Great text. Thanks for the text.
And Brian was very grateful, and we had listeners react, and some agreed, disagreed. Rob says, I'm Team Jannelle, and for Team Brian, I'm just against Brian. Wow.
Thanks for finally being honest, Rob. Thank you. But Jannelle would say, thank you.
Thank you. That's
Thank
right.
you.
So, Brian, what are your plans this afternoon?
Nap.
Yeah.
Ooh.
That is right. I got a meeting, which is kind of whack. I'm not even going to lie.
Is this a
I'm not
CPA meeting or something, or what's your problem?
No, with a lender, and I had to postpone it earlier in the week. And you know when you postpone, you're like, yeah, but then the day shows up, and you're like, it was today. But it's going to be quick. It's just getting there.
Yeah, one of my kids has a football practice at 6 p.m. on a Friday.
Outside. Are you one of those parents? Because we were laughing at those parents. I'm going to tell you why. You stand outside and watch a
No,
kid
I
with
do
an
not
umbrella.
stand outside.
Giselle, and she got little kids. At least I'm like older. She's like, yo, that I would not do that. I would straight up wait in the car for like
There's a whole
umbrella.
bunch of parents doing that in our community.
Like,
I want to walk up and go, what are you doing?
yo.
Sit in the car.
Oh my
We got
gosh.
one kid, one of our kids is old enough where we drop him off, we leave.
But he's gonna be like, wow, Dad, like everybody else's parents is watching. You can't even sit there and watch me.
No,
What if he makes it boom and you'd be like,
in
you
practice?
missed it,
In
Dad?
practice? I go to his game.
Yeah.
Yeah, get in the car, turn the heat on, go home if you can.
Rob says you should call Jannelle during her meeting to see if she answers.
She will. She will be like, hold up a minute, excuse me, just a minute. What? Hello?
Yes,
I'm in a meeting, Brian.
yes.
Yo, I got a confession. I feel bad. And then we could go, okay, I did something that's so messed up.
Oh, good. I love when you do this.
So talking about
You ate a mango
practices,
again in the shower.
Like I got a lot of kids.
You dropped
there
your mango
are
in the shower.
9 kids in my house. So I'm constantly like have to look and be like, okay, so-and-so, they in the van. Because somebody's, you know. So Giselle, we take turns taking the kids to practice.
Your sister,
The 2
Giselle,
younger
yeah.
ones, my sister. And she took them to practice. And then, you know, when you have a lot of adults, unless somebody says pick them up, you can miss it. Len and I were talking to my senior who is trying to figure life out. That's another conversation. This dude is mad that we don't got a plan for him for the next 4 years. I was like, dude, I went to Oberlin and semester per semester, I didn't know if I was going to like be able to come back. I'm like, we can't give you. So we were dealing with all that.
Isn't he thinking he's grown?
A plan. He's like, yo, what am I going to.
He ever heard of making his own plan?
Well, we're trying to help him pay, but it's like, dude, like, we got your back. We'll figure it
we'll just
out.
write a check for the whole thing.
Thank you. So we're dealing with all of that, and it's 7:50, and the phone rings. Like at 7:30, they were supposed to come out, and they're shutting down buildings, and this is the 3rd time in less than 2 weeks, Brian. I feel so bad. They told my kids, they were like, you need to tell your parents that next time, like, you guys are getting kicked out. And then I told them, he used those words, kicked out. They said, no, they're going to put us out and lock the building.
Janelle, I had,
Oh, my gosh.
when my son Marshall was in 5th grade, he had an after-school activity, like, every other week on a Wednesday or something. And I could never, like, it slipped my mind. And multiple times, my friend who was physical education teacher at the school would call me and be like, I'd see the phone ring. I'd know why they're calling. I'd run outside, and I'd be like, hey, man, I'm on my way. Almost there. Like, I mean, I was technically on my way.
Yes.
Even though I wasn't in the van yet.
And don't you just want to hide when you pull up and the teacher's there? You just want to disappear.
I had one time where this dude's a friend of mine, so it wasn't a big deal, so don't freak out about this. He pulled in the driveway with my kid. I was like, I thought I'd bring him home for you, Brian. I was like, oh, no.
Oh my
I'm
gosh.
sorry.
This is horrible. Yeah, so that was it. Thank you for listening, because it's bothering me. Oh my goodness. Because now, you know, we're grown. We know people got like dinner and like they got to go home. So I'll do better.
Yeah.
Have a good weekend. Bruce says one more thing. There's a good, helpful book, How to Fight Racism. Jamar Tisby is the bomb.
She loves Jamar.
Sharon, you're just mad that then we're going to go on this one. Let me see, because I'm pressing the button.
Wait, no.
No, son.
I was
One
like,
of-
guys, we have one more thing. What day is it today?
Hey, Selena!
You're so loud, no one can hear the music.
That's right.
Yeah!
Bruce, you'll understand the importance of this. Jamar Tisby invited Brian to be on an interview with him.
No, that's not quite right.
What is it? Tell him.
So one of my first blog posts years ago about race was, it was titled, Is It Safe There? And it's about all the questions I got when Sarah and I moved to the south side of Chicago.
Yeah.
People would always ask us, is it safe there? And there really was no reason to ask that other than black people are scary.
Yeah.
And now it's more complicated than that. Don't draw weird conclusions. And Jamar Tisby not only read it, but he like wrote an article where he referenced it and quoted it and shared it. He shared my whole piece.
Dang.
And this was back before he was
Big time.
like big time.
Yeah.
And he wrote me and I think I wrote to him or something and thanked him for doing that. And he asked me to be a regular contributor
Regular contributor, you would have been like at his level by now.
to his like to like whatever, I forget who he was writing for. It was
What?
before he was running a website that posted articles on those issues. And I had a bunch of kids. I got a job. I was just starting to write. And I was like, man, I'm so sorry. I'm really busy
You
right now.
actually said, I thought you at least missed it. Oh
I turned him down.
Gosh.
And then I In fact, I should look it up. I think I can find
Rob,
it.
look up Jamar Tisby. He is big time.
Mm-hmm.
This dude turned him down. Oh my
And then
goodness.
I tried to reach back out to him a year or two later when I realized what I had done, and he never wrote back.
Oh
my gosh. Wow. But think about it. There would be no Brian Jannelle mornings.
That's
You better
true.
thank the Lord. You get to work with me.
That's right.
Thank you.
I'm finding the note now.
That is so messed up. Janet says, once my nephew in high school, we drop him off. He needs
look at
that
this.
on his own.
May 20th, 2013, 10:15 p.m. Jamar Tisby. Brian, thanks for writing, brother. I came across your blog. He said, P.S. We'd be glad to have you be a guest post on the Reformed African American Network. Here are the guidelines for submission. And anyway, I turned them down.
Oh, Brian.
Rob says he's your Jamar now.
Look at it. Look at it. You don't believe me? Look at it. Jamar Tisby right here. Come here. Look at it. Jamar Tisby.
Dang, that's so messed up.
Yeah. That's why I say nobody would buy a ticket to the movie about my life.
Listen, for those people who think about, like, remember we talked about the culture now where it's like, oh, you got the calling? They would tell you you're going to get to heaven and God's going to be like, you missed it. You missed it. It was that email.
I was invited to be a contributor to the Reformed
my
African American
gosh.
Network or whatever, and I was
Then
like-
you would have been really black.
I was like really, I was legitimately very busy.
Yeah, with kids. Well,
Then I
thank
have
you,
two
y'all.
more emails I found where I wrote to him kind of like, hey, remember me, please? I'd love to.
Yeah, more than
Sorry.
one time. Oh
And
my
he's like,
gosh.
listen, I'm not going to write that. He never wrote back. I don't blame him. I said no.
He's probably busy, though. I don't think he on purpose ignored you. Bruce says, wow, Brian, you missed a great opportunity to invite him to your show. Brian, you wasn't intimidated? Were you intimidated? David said, yeah, you're working with Jannelle. Oh my gosh. What?
Rob, you are not my Jamar. That is ridiculous.
Were you a little intimidated? I would have been. Were you a little intimidated? Oh, you were truly just busy.
To be totally honest, I was a little ignorant of, like, I was new to, like, the issue of talking about. That was the first time I'd written publicly or spoken publicly about issues of race.
Yeah.
And so I was ignorant. I didn't know who Jamar was. I didn't know about the Reformed
Yeah.
African American Network. I didn't know.
But, you know, we were playing about, I'm playing around about you missed it. But we know that whatever
I did.
God wills, no, you did. But whatever God's will is, you know, will come through. So it wasn't meant to be. It wasn't. I'm just saying, that's messed up. Did you see his last book? Compromise?
Color of Compromise? You don't even know the title. Color of Compromise.
His podcast is the bomb. Have you heard him? Who's that
Yes,
guy that's
pass
with
the
him?
mic. Thank you.
Pass the mic.
So Jamar Tisby, if you ever see this particular post,
You
because
ain't
someone
gonna
tells
see
you I
it.
talked about you, I'm sorry. I was wrong. I should have agreed.
Can you please call me?
This is a missed opportunity.
Gosh.
My punishment is you just don't even talk to me.
Wow.
Pretend you don't know me. I screwed up.
Oh,
You're amazing.
the Lord made it up for you. Phil Vischer.
Yeah.
He confused you.
Should I show him?
Yeah. Check
We'll
this
just stick
out.
around to the end.
He's big time.
This is a
Yeah,
big
because Miss
moment.
Theola was like, man, you overtime on overtime.
So, okay. Jannelle and I interviewed Phil Vischer about his video on race in America. Phil Vischer's Bob the Tomato and VeggieTales. And he only knows radio. And then he talked about us
Yeah, he
Yes.
sure did. On his podcast. Big time podcast.
on the Holy Post podcast. And there was a really important part that I'd like especially Rob
Listen, Rob.
to hear.
Watch this.
Interviewed by, so I'm being interviewed by two hosts. I believe I couldn't see them, but I believe they were both African American, and they're the morning hosts in Cleveland.
Oh.
Did you catch that, Rob?
Both African American. Wow.
And he didn't even know that neither of us were.
All right, bye guys.
Because you're Latina. Don't-
I am black Latina. Thank you.
But you're not African American.
It doesn't matter. You want me to break it down for you the way I
Well-
break it down? Thank you.
You're Afro-Dominican.
I'm Afro-Dominican. Yes, I am. That's Afro with a little bit of spice to it.
Woo.
a Selena Day. Go watch stuff, read her
Yes.
music, watch her music.
Hey,
listen.
Rob,
Wow.
where's
we
your
got-
comment, Rob? When Bob the Tomato talks to Jannelle and me, he says, "Wow, these two black people are really compelling."
Rob, help him out. What's your comment to that?
He's got no comment. He left.
No,
He can't handle
He
it.
has to have a comment. Wow, he completely ignored you.
Rob, it's embarrassing to be you right now, bro. That you got nothing to say.
Oh, yeah!
Rob. Come
That's
on, Rob.
tight. That's tight.
Phil Vischer thinks I'm black, Rob. Did you hear that? What are you going to do about that? What are you going to do about that? You're so tired. Okay, one more time, Rob. How about that?
Oh, wow, we gotta go.
No, we don't.
I'm being interviewed by, two hosts. I believe, I couldn't see them, but I believe they were both African American, and they're the morning hosts in Cleveland.
I have a question I've never asked you before. What was it that he's pretty smart and he's like all about all these issues? What made him walk away and think, oh yeah, they have to be both African American? What? To what?
You talk to me every day.
What?
Why do you even have to ask that question?
David said, tell him, Brian. Okay, we gotta go. You gotta press the button. Call Bob the Tomato. Wow, Tammy's laughing. Amy's laughing. Bye, guys. Brian, press the button.
From two black people to you.